Good morning, everybody. This is Jess Riley, Director of Life Insurance Sales here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Really happy to have everybody on today. This is going to be a really important topic for us. As you know, today we're going to be talking about Congress's $3.5 trillion spending bill, some important features there, and then obviously the opportunities that we have for planning around that. We will be joined shortly by Tyler Randall. He's the National Sales Director from Stonewood Financial. But we will start off, before I hand the controls over to Tyler, and just kind of go through a few housekeeping things, some information about IAMS for those of you who are not familiar with us or working with us yet. First thing I do want to hit on is our new producer builders. So if you are a new agent with us, we have a lot of really strong incentives here for you to write with us. As you can see, we have different tiers and different packages available. You hit the $100,000 level, which would also be $10,000 in target life premium. You have your choice of the items you see there, which would be a 1,500-piece mailer, the newest iPad. You can just take some cash money, or you can get some pre-formatted emails and a marketing analysis done by IAMS. If you save that up and decide to go for the $250,000 level FIA premium or 25 of target life, now we're bumping things up. So a 3,000-piece mailer, $2,000 marketing reimbursement, or a $1,500 Visa gift card. You can see newspaper ads or some marketing collateral could be options for you there as well. As we go on up the hill, if you decide to wait for that $500,000 level, you can see we're offering 5,000-piece postcard mailing with some training from one of our top producers. Or you can choose a 4,000-piece mailer to fill up a Dave Pemper seminar, which is focused around Social Security planning. We know those always do well. Or you can choose a night or two at the Ritz-Carlton, or if you're doing billboard ads or seminar presentations, we can certainly set you up there. Going on up to the 750 level, you can see that gets you 8 recorded radio shows for Retirement Boss Radio, if that's a medium you'd like to try. Or we could set you up with 2 different Social Security seminars with guaranteed buying units at those. $45,000 lead credit. These are for digital annuity leads or social media campaign. From start to finish, by the way, that's completely unique to you. And obviously we get up to that 1 million mark, we're getting the big stuff. So core story brand builder, published in major news outlets. We can set you up alternatively with the dinner workshop, the 8,000-piece mail drop. So that's certainly something that can generate a lot of business. We can give between 8 and 10 qualified preset annuity appointments. And if you're running those, you know those things can run $300 to $400 a pop. Or we can do 3 videos, the consumer-facing brochures, some custom articles and things like that. So the whole point is we've got a lot of incentive for you guys to write business with us. We just want to make sure you're all familiar with them. We also have in our business builders a referred producer program. IAMS works with a lot of agents. We get a lot of great referrals from our advisors, and we want to make sure that we are showing our appreciation for that. So you refer an agent to us, we give you a $50 bonus when they get an active contract. When they write their first piece of business, whether that is life, long-term care, annuity, whatever the case may be, we pay an additional $100. And then as those referrals continue to write business, we pay out quarterly bonuses to you. So there's ways that you can refer, good producing agents to IAMS, and you can continue to be paid on their production as long as we are all working together. So that's a lot of strong incentive here. We do also offer, of course, a strong marketing reimbursement program. We understand that, getting prospects to talk to is the biggest thing that keeps most of you up at night. So we want to make sure that we're throwing some skin in the game as a thank you for working with us here at IAMS. So you'll see that we do $100 in marketing reimbursement for every $100,000 of indexed annuity premium. If you're writing single premium life insurance, we'll actually do $200 per $100,000. Or if you're doing more traditional life insurance, $10,000 in target premium gets you $200 in your marketing account. So that's pretty strong incentives there. Also want to, of course, hit on probably what we're known the most for is the best back office support in the business. We have a lot of different tools available to help you work smarter, not harder. Kind of a list of those tools here would be some of the business building tools and resources. Of course, we've got sales directors here that are well versed and very experienced that can help you with case design, everything from your basic case all the way up to advanced markets designs. Our website has access to most all applications and marketing materials for the carriers we work with. Of course, we have life and annuity quote engines on the site, as well as annuity rate watch for you to review. And then we do use the paperless contracting, which makes it easy to add additional carriers when needed as you see fit. And then, as I mentioned, we do have the top sales expertise in coaching, not just in regards to product, but also in regards to concept and coaching ways to close business and things of that nature. So we want to make sure you're taking advantage of that. One big addition here over the last few years has been the kind of emergence, or I guess a strong push more towards the EAP, especially over the last 2 years. We do use Firelight on the annuity side. This is something where most of our carriers are utilizing this. It allows you to do electronic applications, which most people are actually leaning towards these days. That's a great opportunity there. On the life insurance side, we use iPipeline. So we have IGO EAPs for the carriers that subscribe to that system. If there is an insurance company on the life side that does not use iPipeline, they generally will have their own electronic application process, and we can direct you how to access those and how to use it. Kind of jumping back to Firelight, these are the carriers on the left-hand side here that are currently enrolled in the Firelight program, and then on the right are the carriers that are coming real soon. So as I mentioned, most of the major players understand that EAPs are very important in today's business, so they make that an option for you. If you prefer paper, we still have that option as well, of course. We also want to highlight our creative marketing solutions. We have one of the best creative teams in the industry. I know that everybody says the same thing, but I honestly believe that. And I think if you've seen any of their work, you would agree as well. Just kind of a snapshot of some of the things that our creative team can provide to you. Turnkey solutions. So if you're looking for ready to print customized pieces that are professionally written, we have those available. They can be handouts, flyers, postcards, newsletters, etc. If you are building an agency and you're looking to get your branding off the ground, we can help with the logo designs, brochures, business cards, everything you need to make sure that that business looks good and professional and is attractive to the prospects, clients there in your area. And then, of course, we also have digital solutions through our creative team. What do I mean by that? We can help develop and build custom websites. We can work with you on specific digital marketing strategies based on the target markets you want to hit and the type of sales you're looking to make. We can consult with you on social media marketing and tell you the best ways to maximize your efforts in areas like LinkedIn and Facebook. We can help with e-marketing and online newsletters as well. So just a really great team of people there that have a lot of great experience, a lot of years doing this, and can certainly help you guys in all of these areas. I do also want to hit on, I'd mentioned the website a little bit here. There are a lot of great tools we have on the website. Annuity Rate Watch is probably one of the bigger tools on the annuity side, where you can go in, see current caps, rates, all the product details you would like to see with the annuity carriers that we offer. We do have our term quote engine online as well, which is where you would quote your term life insurance, or your guaranteed UL can be quoted through there as well. As I mentioned, the EAP platforms, both Firelight and IGO, are on the website, so you can write almost all of your business just from one spot there, which I think is very handy, and all your cases are saved in one location, so that makes it very efficient as well. And then, of course, again, LTC and annuity product information can be found as well on the site. One of the software tools that I would like to highlight, and I would also like to make clear, we do have Stonewood on the line here. Retirement Analyzer and Stonewood's software are completely different and are used to do different things. We're going to talk about Stonewood and some of the power of their software shortly. Retirement Analyzer is used generally for the whole financial picture. Okay, so this is, when I'm looking at Retirement Analyzer, I like to say this is a way to take the client's retirement plan out of their head and kind of put it to the test. We all think we know where we need to be in retirement, at least have an idea. Very few of us know if we are actually on the right track to meet the goals that we have for ourselves there. And this software does a great job of helping to show that. And again, it also leads you right into some solutions that will help clients if they do have a problem with their retirement plan. So make sure and ask your sales directors about the Retirement Analyzer software if you have not used it before. I also want to make sure everybody is aware that we do have a wealth management division. If you have your Series 65 and are looking for an RIA platform, I would encourage you to contact the IAMS wealth management team and discuss that further. We have a great set of guys over there. They're doing very well. And some of the reasons that you want to do that are listed below. Obviously, if you have that license, that can lead to increased revenue based on the managed money fees. It also really helps you lock up all of the client's assets, which means you can make more commission and make more sales on the fixed and an index side as well. It does improve your client retention because now you're offering the full range of products, and then it strengthens those relationships. Now, if you do not have a Series 65, you can still refer your clients to IAMS Wealth Management, and there is a structure that they have to incentivize you to do so. So I would encourage you, again, to give us a call, talk to the wealth management team about that process, because there's ways that the wealth management division can certainly help you and your clients out and help you keep them as lifelong clients. Some of the fun stuff that we have coming up, the biggie is the Top Producer Summit that we are going to be running next summer. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner, the qualification period on that is December 1st, 2020, all the way through June of 2022. So we give a nice long qualification period there. This is going to be a great trip. As you can see, we're going to be doing a Mediterranean cruise that's going to kick off in Rome in August, at the end of August, and we'll end up in Venice there at the early part of September. So want to make sure you guys are aware of the qualification period. It's 4.5 million points to qualify. Keep that in mind. There's still time to hit this mark. We've got several months left before the qualification period ends. If you are an annuity writer, I also definitely want to highlight something that Athene is offering here. They're offering what they call the Escape to Paradise for IAMS producers who are writing Athene business. They're going to be taking some folks down to Hilton Head Island in South Carolina, some of the best golf courses in the world in that area, great beaches, just a great area to be. And so you can see the qualification period on that is April 1 through December 31st of this year. You hit that $2 million production mark with them, you're going to be qualified. I would highly encourage you, if you have clients that are a good fit for Athene Annuities, to push on this. Get yourself down to Hilton Head. We'd love to have you guys down there with us. Last but certainly not least, IAMS offers life and annuity academies. So we're trying to get these back live. Actually starting one off here later this week, actually starting tonight. Be the only one we'll be having this year, but we will be looking to add some more of these academies as we move into next year, and we'll certainly keep you guys posted on that. They're 2-day trainings. As you can see, we're sharing sales ideas and strategies from some of our top agents. We're going to go through different products, positioning techniques. We'll talk about different marketing and prospecting that we have available, talk about some advanced concepts, and then all the software tools and things that we have available for you guys as well. So keep an eye on communications from us in regards to these life and annuity academies as we move into 2022. And of course, we got the socials. So follow us and like us on Facebook and LinkedIn. We do put a lot of good information out there pretty much on a daily basis, updates in the industry and things like that. So make sure you're liking and following us on both of those platforms. And then, as always, if you have questions on anything we discussed today or any of the services and ways that IAMS can help you just in general, feel free to give us a call. The toll-free number here is 800-255-5055. So now we have gone through the housekeeping. Let's get to the fun stuff. I want to introduce Mr. Tyler Randall. He is the National Sales Director at Stonewood Financial, and he's here to talk to us about this $3.5 trillion spending bill that we are seeing here, and some opportunities that we all have to take advantage of that. So I am going to, Tyler, turn the controls over to you. So welcome aboard, and thanks for joining us. You can go right ahead.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jess. I appreciate it. All those beautiful slides, and now you have to look at me. So I apologize about that if you just had your lunch. And I didn't know that, these bills were the fun stuff, but it definitely is important for our business. And really, Stonewood, we are super big believers in mitigating tax risk and mitigating legislative risk, which is really what we're seeing here, the ability for Congress to change the rules on us and have it impact our clients' lives and our own lives, especially when it comes to retirement savings. And so the purpose of this call really is not for us to be experts in this new bill, but to be aware of what's happening, what's in it, how is it going to affect our business, and really the solutions that are available through IAMS and Stonewood to help you mitigate it and utilize it. As I look this over, it could be one of the biggest gifts to our industry for people on this call, and certainly very relevant for us to be able to talk to clients and prospects about. Everybody's interested in what's happening in Washington, and this is a bill that impacts all of us and can potentially really have future impact for all of us. So with that being said, I don't have a lot of slides. I'm just going to talk through what this bill is about, some of the big bullet points on it, and then we're going to open up to some solutions and some ideas about it. So I'm sure most of you are aware that the House Democrats have now introduced a $3.5 trillion spending bill, and that bill is predominantly to fund healthcare and really expand Medicaid, infrastructure, climate change, or what we would really call social welfare policy change. And that's really it's an exceptional bill. And by that I don't mean, wow, this is a great bill. It's exceptional in the fact that there's probably been no bigger expansion in social welfare and policy change since the 60s, probably LBJ. And so this is impactful. And as we look through it, it's a perfect example of what we always talk about is legislative risk. In our business, we've always mitigated market risk or longevity risk and all the risks that we do as advisors and agents in the planning process. But now we have to really be aware of these legislative risks and how they're going to impact, especially retirement savings and retirement savers. And so we saw this. A good example was through the Secure Act. I mean, how many of you on this call used to do stretch IRA planning and say, okay, well, this qualified plan, we'll do a stretch IRA, or this annuity, we'll stretch it to your beneficiaries. And we had legislative risk stepped in, and now it's a 10-year payout on the back end. That changes things, and it's certainly not lost on anybody that these huge qualified accounts, which have never been taxed, have a crosshair on them, and they certainly are in Washington trying to figure out ways to get money out of those accounts and pay the taxes, and that's really where we can come in and help clients understand that. And so when we look at this kind of acute attack and this legislative risk on this within this bill, I think one of the quotes, what Congress does is put out a fact sheet on the bill. So it basically says, hey, you don't have to read the whole bill. Here's how we're positioning it. Here's the bullet points in it, the cliff notes, if you will. And these fact sheets are available to everyone. And I'll talk a little bit later on where you can go if you're interested in kind of geeking out on it like we did and going through the bullet points. But within that fact sheet, it lays it out. And one of the quotes that it really took me aback was a quote that said, "The government wants to avoid subsidizing retirement savings once accounts get too big," which means there's a limit on, if you, on how much money they think you should have in a qualified account before you get any more tax benefits, deferrals, or the like. And so that quote just blew me away. It's because as Americans, we're always taught, plug your money into your qualified account, your 401k, your 403b, whatever you have, and let it grow and grow and grow and get this big nest egg and feel comfortable. And now there's people in Washington looking at it and saying, there's a limit to that growth. If you did too good a job, we're going to penalize you, or you're going to not get the tax treatment that you thought that you would get for as long as you would get. And that's the legislative risk that's out there. And so we're really going to talk about that. I'm going to hit the bullet points on some of those things, but we just got to be aware of it. And I think the conversations need to start happening with our clients and our prospects to let them know they're aware of it, because they might hear infrastructure and Medicaid and all this and not realize that the qualified account is under attack. And that's our real purpose of this call, is to make us all aware of what's in the bill and what's happening. So as we look at the bill provisions, there is a new kind of RMD that is within this bill. So amongst all the other stuff, and this affects savers of all ages, by the way, and it basically says, if your combined accounts, your 401ks, your qualified accounts, your pensions, everything is in excess of $10 million, anything beyond 10 million requires a 50% distribution, or required minimum distribution out the following year. So if I have a $10 million account that grows 10%, I have 11 million bucks. The next year I have to take out $500,000. And that's a huge hit. Obviously, regardless of what age you are, you're taking out a distribution and having to pay a tax on it. And that's a big deal. The other portion in this bill is subject to Roth accounts. And if you're over 10 million bucks, you can't utilize the Roth any longer. The other part of it is if you are making more than $400,000 a year, you can no longer convert your Roth IRA to, convert your IRA to a Roth. So the Roth is now being phased out or impacted, which is kind of crazy. And you might be saying, man, Tyler, this, I don't even have anybody with $10 million in a qualified account, or most of my clients don't make $400,000. How is this going to affect me? Or maybe you have a handful of folks that fit that bill. The big part on this is not necessarily the current numbers. It's the difficult part when passing a bill is to build the chassis and the structure out and get it passed. Once it's passed, the numbers are then easy to change. So the hard part is getting buy-in to the structure, the chassis. And once that structure is in place, it's very easy then to go back and say, I know we did this at 10 million, but maybe we should do it at 5. Maybe we should do it at 2. And it's easy to get that done. Those numbers are easy to change because we already agreed to the chassis and the structure. And right now it's 400,000 on income. Maybe it's 300,000 or 200,000. Same thing with the Secure Act that we saw with the stretch IRA going to 10 years. Well, maybe we want to make it 5-year payouts or lump sum payout. That's the part that's easy to change. And so you think about all the money in qualified accounts and the ability to dictate to the American saver, retiree, when those dollars are going to be distributed out, how much you can have in them before you can no longer use a tax deferred vehicle or convert to a tax-free. And you understand that legislative risk is huge. And so it's important for us to really understand that and the ability for them to change it. And the bill really in it does nothing to address the current deficit. So we're 28, 30 trillion, the number constantly changing. Zero of this spending bill addresses the current debt in the US. In fact, this $3.5 trillion that's proposed, the current taxation, the new rules, of course, to pay for it, there's these current taxes and new tax changes, only comes up with about 2.9 of the 3.5 trillion. So we've got $600 billion of unfunded new bill. So not only does it not address the 28 trillion debt that is currently on the books. This one does not even address or completely fund itself. And so what that tells us as we look at it is that there's going to be another bite of the apple to at some point just to support this current bill, but also to start spending down the deficit as we see it. And so these changes are significant. This legislative risk is huge. And I think it's important for all of us just to be aware that the provisions and structures are in place with this bill to really impact our clients. And it may not be today or tomorrow, maybe for a handful of people if this goes through, but it's certainly over the next 10, 20, 30 years of someone's retirement savings and our retirements. It's going to be impactful, and it gives us pause to be able to say, okay, how do we take this information and utilize it for some solutions? But before I get there, I promised you this: if you're curious about all the details, you want to go through, not just the Roth IRA impact and the new RMD proposals. You want to see all the information in this bill. The way that you access it is to go to the House Ways and Means Committee, and each congressman. So if you look at Kevin Brady, Republican, puts out a fact sheet on this bill, and you can go in and look at all the details. And then on the other side, Congressman Neal has a fact sheet as well. And of course, you got a Republican fact sheet and a Democratic fact sheet. And you look at both and you find the truth in the middle, hopefully someplace there. And it'll be interesting to see what happens, because what Senate's going to do with this, because you've got the budget chair, which is funny. You got the budget chair being Bernie Sanders, says, oh, $3.5 trillion, not enough. We need $6 trillion in order to do this thing right. And so they're never going to get to that spot. And I think there's a Joe Manchin that has says how $3.5 trillion is too much. He sides more with the Republicans. Says $1.5 trillion may be really what this spending and infrastructure and social welfare policy change needs. And so it'll be interesting to see where they land. I don't think that they're going to get to where Mr. Sanders would like it to be at $6 trillion, but it may not end up at 3.5. Since only 2.9 of it is actually funded, probably going to be closer to that amount, but I'll be curious to see where it lands. So just be aware that within this bill, there's a lot of things that they were not able to get through the legislative agenda through a vote, and it's going to go through a reconciliation process, which just needs 50 votes in the Senate. And then, of course, it's the vice president that would be the tiebreaker if it's so. There's a pretty solid support that this will go through in some form or fashion once they land on the numbers. How do we take this, and hopefully we know through the Secure Act and what's happening here that you agree with me that the qualified accounts are under attack, the crosshairs are firmly set, and how do we take this information and utilize it and help our clients and prospects? How do we start to have this conversation? Well, Stonewood is currently working on a white paper with this that once we get a little bit more certainty around what actually is going to go into effect, that white paper is going to be available. So if you're working with IAMS and Stonewood, that white paper will be terrific to be able to get out to clients and prospects and utilize in the sales presentation. We'll certainly create one-pagers and ideas around legislative risk. We have a ton of that already on our site and available for our members. And if you're not familiar with us, what we do, we try to make complex presentations like taxes and income and insurance and simplify it. And we simplify it through our marketing, our books, our PowerPoints, our seminar presentations, client one-pagers. And we built out a full software package that can simply show somebody how insurance works in a simple way. We take carrier illustrations that are 50 pages and boil it down to 2. They're compliant to use, but easy and clear and concise. So we just try to take these complex issues and make it simple. And so that's really what we do very well. And so if you're looking for assistance in that, we're happy to help. How do we take this and make it a positive and impact our clients' lives and help them? Well, we're big believers in index universal life, IUL. And what's not included in this bill, and this is very important, is that cash value life insurance does not count towards that cap, the 10 million bucks. And that's, section 7702 of the tax code, no mention of 7702. You certainly have 401ks and 403bs, and every other qualified account is named in the accumulation of that $10 million, but life insurance is not, and that's big for us. It also does not limit the conversion of qualified accounts to IUL. So if you think about that cap on your people that are making over $400,000, and you probably have a lot more of those than people that have $10 million in qualified accounts, that are thinking about, well, should I continue to defer these millions of dollars or $500,000 or whatever the number is in their qualified account the next 30 years into a tax environment, which is going to be much, much higher. There's no doubt about that. To spend down this debt, taxes are going to move up. What do they do if they cannot convert to a Roth any longer? Well, IUL is really going to be the only game in town. That's a tax-free option that is a terrific option for clients and prospects. So as you think about how this bill impacts those folks that have qualified accounts, and if you're really over the age of 60 with qualified money, and you make a nice living, over $400,000 a year, those clients really need to know that they have an option and that the Roth IRA may no longer be an option. Very short period of time. So number one, possibly take advantage of it while it lasts, but there's no guarantee that the Roth IRA rules will not change in the future as well. And so anything that's controlled by the government and the rules can change categorizes in how we started this conversation, which is legislative risk and our ability to help our clients avoid that and mitigate it, which is really what this bill primes us up to do. So the ability to talk to those folks and to convert IRA assets into a tax-free vehicle or IUL. We're not lawyers, but those are independent contracts, private contracts between you and an insurance company. And the rules on those contracts rarely ever change. And if they do, what happens? What has happened in the past when they change the rules on a life insurance contract? Well, they grandfather them in. And so what happens is if you are an advisor or agent that has proposed this life insurance contract that is so good that they have to change the rules on them, the people that own them are grandfathered in, and now you should get superhero advisor of the year because you've given them something that's so good that you just can't get it anymore. And that's I feel like where we're going here is the ability to show somebody a contract, a tax-free option that the rules can't change on and are going to be so good that your clients will thank you and thank you and thank you that you're able to get them into something that is not only avoiding legislative risk, but maybe something that we don't see again. And we see this all the time with life insurance and annuities. There's contracts out there that get so good that they get phased out either by the insurance company or the rules change. And the people that have them are like, wow, this thing is so awesome. It's so inexpensive or so great, whatever feature or benefit. And so I think that's where we're at. So to be able to look at IUL not being impacted, still being able to convert money into IUL, that is huge. And the ability for that product to avoid legislative risk really helps us, as we talk through this bill and the different impacts that happen, to be able to convert and talk about that. The hedge, tax risk, legislative risk is huge. And so if you have been looking for simple ways to do that, if you would like to implement tax-free allocations or diversification, talk to your life sales team at IAMS. They work very closely with us at Stonewood, and we can give you a simple track to run on to be able to introduce this concept and ideas, both from a marketing standpoint and a point of sale standpoint, to be able to implement it into your practice. And we do very extensive training around all of it. So we've been doing it for years and years. People have been very successful in using what we're doing. And I think this new bill gives us the opportunity to engage clients and prospects to let them know that their qualified account, the way that they've saved, the way they've been told to save all their life, is under attack, and it's going to continue to be under attack because there's no taxes paid and there's too much debt out there, and it's going to have to be addressed in one form or fashion. And a tax-free option is great. I think another couple of ideas that really hit me on this bill was that there is 79, not only did it not address our current deficit, we talked about that, but there's $79 billion allocated in this bill to the enforcement, the IRS enforcement of these new laws, or these new taxes. And I think that's crazy. So you think about all the dollars that are being allocated to enforce this, it's going to happen. And the IRS is going to look and be very aggressive about getting the tax dollars that this bill outlines. And that nothing tells it more than saying, hey, we're going to spend $79 billion. We don't care about the deficit. We're going to get $79 billion just to enforce these new tax provisions. I think Kevin Brady had a quote in here that says, "This is the biggest expansion of the welfare state in my lifetime." Pretty sobering. I think a lot of us really need to take a hard look at this, the implications for our business. And if you're looking for solutions to it, that's where we can come in and help. I think to be able to talk about tax-free allocation, legislative risk in a simple way that not only you'll get, but your clients and prospects will get. We have everything you need to do that. And I think that's important for you to know. And really contact your life sales team at IAMS, and they can further develop this conversation. If you want to talk to us one-on-one, we're happy to set up times to do that. And just know within the next few weeks, this just came out, of course, just a couple of weeks ago. So as this develops and we have our white papers and our marketing ideas around it, once it firms up, please be in contact with IAMS and your life sales group and Stonewood, and we can get you what you need to really take advantage of this, these changes that are coming that will allow us to start a conversation that can really help our clients and prospects. So with that, I'm going to kick it back over to Jess, and just appreciate your time and attention. Glad that you're familiar with what's happening here, and just know that we're here to be able to provide some solutions for you to really help clients and prospects and help your business.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. One thing that I would add on top of that too, when we're talking about Section 7702 of the tax code, part of that definition is how we calculate modified endowment contracts. And one change that is actually positive, in my opinion, for what we're talking about today is we now have the ability to pump a lot more premium into a policy for a given face amount than we could last year. And so when we're talking about aggressively saving for retirement in tax advantaged vehicles, it is a great time to do it. We've got carriers with new products out, and obviously you can talk to any of the sales directors on the details there. But again, with the way those are calculated now, we're actually able to beef up the tax-free accounts more than ever before. So it is a good time to talk about this stuff. To Tyler's point, we know that the changes are coming. We don't have the exact number yet, but we know it's coming. And so it's time to start talking about this with clients now. When you're talking about cash value life insurance and the ability to be grandfathered in if and when any tax changes come, just think about products that were written in 1970 and 1980 before the MEC limits were introduced. You still run into those policies where the cash values are higher than the death benefits. Those are examples of policies that were in force. They do not go back and change the rules on those for you once you've had them in place. So I think that those are all good points, Tyler. I appreciate you jumping on and covering these things with us. Again, we work very closely with Tyler and the folks at Stonewood. So if you guys would like to talk a little more detail about the solutions they can help provide, please call us. There are great presentations available that simplify the tax conversation, and I think can help close a lot of sales. So I do appreciate you jumping on, Tyler. I am going to throw up a couple of poll questions for you guys, as we always do. Please answer these. That certainly helps us know a little bit more about what you guys are interested in and ways that we can help you. So the first one I'm going to throw up there now, you should see on the screen. I appreciate if you'd give us feedback on that, if you are interested in getting a complimentary marketing analysis done. We'll give that just a couple minutes here, a couple seconds here rather. Okay. Looks like pretty much everybody's got their votes in here, so I appreciate that. Next question. We're talking about taxes, and we're talking about long-term tax planning, not just tax planning for the year. So the question is, are you interested in receiving the IAMS macro tax planning kit? And the guide and the kits and everything included in this are all about helping you prepare your clients for long-term tax planning into retirement, not just saving taxes for this year or next year. A lot of great tools in here to help you position these types of sales and conversations. So definitely a big opportunity there. Okay, looks like we got most folks voted there. And then last, but certainly not least, with Mr. Randall here. Are you interested in learning more or getting access to the Stonewood financial software? This is the platform. Tyler didn't go, in depth on, super in depth on, but to kind of paint the picture. Again, this is software that really makes it easy for clients to see the tax differences between saving in a qualified account and saving in a tax-free account. To Tyler's point earlier, we've all been taught to save in IRAs or 401ks or 403bs forever, and that would be in a lower tax rate environment when we retire. Well, with the way taxes are going, that's not always true. And again, with the legislative risk that's mentioned here, we may be seeing some big changes to those retirement accounts and the abilities to save in there the way that we're used to. So this software does a great job of helping break that down. So if you're interested in that, make sure you're clicking yes here. Okay, we're going to close the poll. I would like to wrap this up by again thanking Tyler for joining us. If you guys have any questions around this or want to talk further about it, please call us at 800-255-5055. We'll be doing some more trainings and things with Tyler and the folks at Stonewood in the future. So keep an eye out for those invites. I appreciate everybody coming on and hope you have a great day. Happy selling.